Hello, everyone. We got a couple of minutes here before it's the official time, so we'll give it a couple more minutes and let people join. For those of you that are on there, just a little housekeeping. I'll mention this again, but there should be a Q&A area on your Zoom. You can post questions. It doesn't even have to be related to the topic that I'm talking about. If you have general questions about anything you want me to even cover that I'm not covering today, post them in there. If you have any questions related to what I'm talking about, post them throughout the webinar. I hope to be able to go through those and make sure every question gets answered. And if not, we'll take it offline and I'll follow back up. So use that accordingly. All right, hang tight. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm officially 1 minute past the start time, so I apologize for that. I just kind of wanted to let everybody join who's going to join. We had a lot of people register for it, good amount of attendees, so that's great. Should have had an introduction to myself on here, but my name is Jeff Hebrink, so I'm kind of the director of customer success, we'll call it. I'm not big on titles, but I think that's my title. But thank you for joining me. And in case you weren't here when I first announcement, there is a Q&A area of the webinar that you can post questions at any point about anything. It doesn't have to be related to what I'm talking about, or if it is related to what I'm talking about, I will try to monitor that area and make sure I answer questions along the way there. So if you also should be able to raise your hand, and then I can allow you to talk as well. So anyways, that's the housekeeping area. So again, thank you for joining me. Today's agenda is around a new feature that we released. So this is a feature that I'm super excited about. I've been hearing about this on the sales side, people asking me questions about this quite often. So we released it last week, I do believe. So wanted to just go through that, kind of touch on another couple of things that I've heard recently that people weren't aware of that they felt was really valuable. So I plan on bringing that up, search by person. And then just kind of news and updates, where to find those, make sure everybody's aware where to find those updates. And then I'm going to transition over into Google Hotels Part 2, I call it. So I did a Google Hotels webinar a while back, a couple months ago. I've learned a lot, and we've learned a lot since then. We have some successes to share and information to share on that. So hopefully you can gain that. So, and again, I'll allow Q&A time at the end, but again, throughout this webinar, feel free to ping me with any questions. So I will move on here. So I just kind of wanted to do a couple of slides on this, and then I'm going to jump into the software. I don't really like slides, but I just wanted to give you a visual. After this release, I was kind of thinking about what are the things that you can see on the occupancy map without even really needing to click on anything. So this is quite an extensive list. So you should now be able to see, without clicking even on a single reservation, you should be able to see the name, if it's a group reservation, the occupant of the room, phone, arrival date, departure date, unit assignment, number of nights, number of guests, and the types of guests, the payment status, whether they're in a locked unit assignment, any important reservation notes, and then now custom colors to notate kind of really anything else that you want to keep track of. And then on the property unit side, you should be able to see the unit name, description, the type, the kind of the rate and the rate plan, minimum stay requirements. You could do a custom location of the unit, housekeeping status, whether it's ADA accessible or not. You could view a wait list, and any non-room limited inventory resources, we call them. So yeah, so I just kind of wanted to list that out there because I was just trying to go through this with somebody else and just wanted to write it down. So I will show this. We've now added the ability to turn any reservation, any color that you want for any meaning that you define. So I'm going to cover that here when we go. So with that, I'm going to end this slideshow because I don't need to do that anymore. I'd prefer to get right into the software. I am going to move to a different database. I was in a wrong database here. Lori, I'll get to your question here when I pause for a moment. So this new feature is related to the occupancy map. And I've already set one up, so maybe I should have gone into one where you don't have anything set up. So now visually on my screen, typically your colors are by payment status. And typically, again, it's red, yellow, green. Mine, I always have red, yellow, blue because I'm colorblind. So I changed my green to be blue. So those were really kind of the only three colors that people saw, whatever colors you defined as no payment, partial payment, and full payment. But now on my screen, you're going to see here a few other colors. And what they mean is up to you. So I am going to click on one of these reservations. And you can click on any, I'm going to click on actually without one here. So now when you do that in your screen, you're going to see this custom color area here under the unit. Now, when you first do this and you don't have anything signed up, it's actually going to have a link to the settings area, which I will go to, but then it'll allow you to define what it is and what color you want and what it means. So I'm going to jump into that settings area. So again, if you do not already have them set up, you can link right to the settings from here. Or you can click on this settings icon up here, this little gear icon, and go to reservation colors. There is now a new tab called custom colors. So again, when there's nothing here, it'll just be add a color. So what that allows you to do is put a description in here, kind of what that color is going to mean. And now you can come over here and define that color. So you can literally pick any shade of any color that you want. So that's kind of how you set it up. These are some prime examples of some questions that I get asked. So these might be a couple of ideas. So maybe these reservations are going to be an early arrival, or they're bringing a pet, or they might be totally separate reservations that are traveling together. So you kind of want to link them together with the same color, kind of turn them the same color. Or maybe it's a wedding that you just kind of want to easily, quickly see, notate. Again, the list can go on and can be up to you. And there really are no limits, with the exception of, I don't know if you want 25 different colors on there. It might get confusing to your staff or whatever, but you potentially could. So again, that is settings, reservation colors, custom colors. And then what it is, when you have an existing reservation, you can click on that reservation and then choose the color that you want. So if this one is going to be bringing a pet, I can choose the pet. Now, what's really cool is you still don't lose the ability to see the payment status. So you'll notice when it's color coded by payment status, it's just the full reservation is colored that way. But if you change it to a custom color, we now put a little dollar bill sign, and the color of that dollar bill now indicates the payment status. So you'll see the difference between no payment and partial payment and full payment on there when they add custom colors. Any questions right away on that? And then I'm going to get to Lori's here. It's kind of unrelated, but feel free to ask any questions or raise your hand if you want to ask a question on that. I have a question here of when I am in a reservation and close out of that reservation, it remains on the screen instead of going back to the tab I'm on, such as dashboard or reservations. So when I'm in a reservation, close out of that, it remains on the screen instead of going back to the tab I'm on. I may need more clarification, but I'm going to just sort of try to mentions this may be something that recently changed. So I'm going to try to do this. So I'm going to view a reservation, close out of that reservation, and I'm in the same tab. So I'm not quite sure what you mean. Lori, if you want to talk, I can unmute you or take that offline. I guess I'm not sure what that means. So any other questions on the custom colors? If not, I will move on to kind of the next topic that I wanted to cover today. It is on the occupancy map. So I was actually working with a customer last week. She was bringing a scenario up and I mentioned this to her and she had no idea that this even existed. So I thought, well, a lot of people might not know this exists. So a lot of our, we deal with mainly small, medium-sized properties. You get a lot of repeat guests, if that's like you. Sometimes when people call you, they might mention who that is very first thing. So instead of having to, click and drag and instantly start making a reservation, we can click on this little search button here. It's a little magnifying glass. When I click on that, I can now search for the person first. So let me type in Campbell. If I start typing Patty Campbell, I can click on her. I get to now see her information right here, their past reservations on file, if they have any more invoices. But now we've got her on the phone. I can see the information. I've got notes in here. And then she says, yeah, I just want to make a booking for next week. So I can actually then just kind of go to whatever date I want. I can then just click and drag. And now Patty is already associated with this reservation. So I've sort of chose the person first, and then I've moved on to making that reservation. Instantly goes into their record here in case you need to update their address or anything like that. So I just wanted to cover that in case that might be valuable. Again, it was the little search button on the very top right of that calendar there. Right there. So hope that helps. Thanks, Judy, for the comment. Yeah, it was, it's sort of a feature that it's in there, and I don't necessarily have time to go cover every feature of our software on the sales side. we're trying to do a better job of being kind of proactive with our support, but it's one of those hidden, I call it a hidden feature that maybe if you aren't poking around in there, yeah, you weren't finding. So the other part is I get asked a lot of when I do these webinars or when we post updates of like, how can we find out about this? And I missed the webinar, or where can I see it? Or can you send me a link or anything like that? I just want to make people aware. Actually, this won't even be in yours. This is kind of like a little icon here that you won't even see, but there's this little bell icon. When you click on that bell icon, there is a view latest news and updates. This now, it's technically the window that appears when we do release a new announceable feature. We kind of throw this up in your face the first time you log in. I don't know how many people just instantly, I know I do it myself. When something throws up in my face and I just want to get something done, I instantly close out of there. And maybe you weren't aware of how to get back there. So if at any point in time you ever want to see the recently updated features, that's kind of the first tab here. So you'll notice we did announce this custom colors feature on here. When you click on it, we wrote a little announcement, and then we have a knowledge base article as well. So how to apply it. So we usually create an announcement. We have a knowledge base article that we post and link to that. So again, new features are here. If you really want to read the nitty-gritty details on what we did, there's a lot of times we will go through and make the actual notes on customer requests and just changing it to be more usable, an enhancement, a task, a bug, etc. And then finally, here's where our usability webinars are posted. So when you miss a webinar or just kind of want to go back to review one, or just right now, if you kind of want to just go back and review all of our recent webinars, you can do that. At the very bottom of this link, we do have a blog, so you can click on that. That'll link to a blog, and then that's where we have lots of different webinars. So we try to host educational marketing webinars, things like that, not just software. So just so you guys know where to find things if you aren't available at the time that we're doing these webinars. I just got a message or a question here from Jen. Any way to add holidays to the calendar? I actually just saw that feature floated around in the development tickets. So the quick answer to that is not today. The follow-up to that is on the agenda here sooner versus later. So I don't know exactly how they'll be implementing it, but it will have to do with the dates up here, being able to put in whether it's just a color or a note or changing, to indicate there's a note here, etc. So right now there's not, but it is already on the agenda and it is fairly high up in priority there, Jen. So I hope that helps. I do have a hand that's raised. Oh, Jen, I'm gonna unmute you here in case you have a follow-up to that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. You didn't have any follow-up. Yeah. So that is definitely one of those features we've heard about and we plan on. The occupancy map is where people live and breathe and operate. So we're really focusing in and trying to make this, obviously we want people to use the other sections as well because they're valuable, but really be able to do most everything right from here. So thank you. Okay. I got some more questions here. Thank you. Before I get started on the other. Martina says, how do I get the guest arrival time visible on the reservation instead of the note? So yeah, so that is one of those things that I probably had on my screen that maybe you don't have. So when I've listed out all those things you can see without having to go into the reservation, one of those things is you can add custom fields to display on this reservation. And on my screen right here, you're seeing I have a custom field called estimated arrival time, or you could just put arrival time or whatever you want, and I put in the date there. So that's in the same settings. So when you click on settings under display settings, here's where this is the bread and butter of all the different things you can post on here. So this is where you can highlight the different days or weekends, or you know, if you're a resort, maybe Saturday to Saturday resort, just Saturdays, etc. You can toggle on and off, showing the unit cleanliness, whether it's clean or dirty, and mark things clean and dirty. If you're a larger property and book by the type instead of individual unit, you can change that here. These are what toggles the height and width of your columns. So, and really you should now pay attention to like how many days you want to see at a time. And then it gives you this little diagram here to show you what it's going to look like. So you also want to take in consideration if you're showing a bunch of information, right? So I'm trying to show their name, their phone number, the guest types and counts, and custom fields to show. So the one thing you want to make sure to do is adjust the height, right? Because if I have a small little height window, you're just not going to be able to see that. So you can adjust the height to make sure you capture those, you know, the 4 lines. And then you also want to give it room. So this is the width of a one-night reservation. So if you want to make sure it's more important for you to visually see notes without having to click, you may want to extend out those columns so you get to see a little bit more information without having to kind of click in there. And then this is the area where you can show custom fields. So when you do this drop down, it's going to list all of your custom fields that you've defined here. And here is where you can say, yes, I want to show that on the occupancy map here. Now, I don't think anybody's one-night reservations will be wide enough to really show all of these things. So it might be one of those things where you pick and choose how many you want to display. And again, think about this as the custom colors that we just added. You can maybe add a custom color to mean one of these things. So now the color can indicate one important thing, and then you can do an additional field for another 1 or 2. So I hope that helps Martina answer your questions. If that didn't, make sure to alert me. Got another question here. Will there be a feature to allow for the notification of a new reservation? There already is notification, so I guess I'd want to clarify. I don't know if you're available to talk, Kat, or to really give me specifics on what notifications. I can tell you when you get an online reservation from your website, you will get an email with a copy of the confirmation. So that's one notification. This little bell rings and puts a number 1. Like if there's only one new reservation since you've checked in here, it'll put a 1. Or if you haven't checked it, it'll have the number of new reservations from online reservations in here. And then when you click on that, it says you're all caught up, but otherwise there will list the new reservations right in this area. I can go through that if you really want me to, but that's a notification. The other area is on the dashboard. You can always go to recent reservations, and this will always kind of show you. Now, this isn't necessarily a notification. This would be just when a new reservation. So Kat, if there's a particular source of the reservation that you want to see, so the notifications will come in when there's an online reservation, those notifications, and you'll get notified in the app with the bell, and you will also get notified by email that there's a new reservation. So I hope that helps. Okay, so you did do a follow-up question, a consolidated notification, Booking.com, Expedia, Booking Engine, all under one notification. So again, those should all be coming in with the bell icon. Now we don't group them, so we don't say, here's all your new Booking.com reservations since you've last looked, here's all your new Expedia. I may follow up with you offline just to get a little bit more suggestions, because if there's anything we can do on those notifications, we'd like to hear it. So I will follow up with you on that. Another question, now that our guests can see rates on the unavailable in the booking engine, can see rates on the unavailable in the booking engine, can we do something to see rates on our occupancy map for unavailable? Your guest should not be able to see rates on a calendar if your units are not available. Let's just go to my fake little booking engine just so I can kind of show. So if it's unavailable, you are not seeing rates. So it may have to do a follow-up with you offline there, Donna, with that question. If they're seeing rates, that means there's something available. But they should not be able to see rates if the unit is unavailable. And then Lori, you haven't gotten email notifications for online. I get all my looking at the reservations on the dashboard. So that might be, please follow up with me if your bell isn't ringing here. In fact, let's just quickly make a reservation. So I'm just gonna book. I'm gonna just choose some dates here. I'm going to select a unit. I'm gonna skip this part. New reservation. I'm gonna put my address in here. I'm gonna accept the terms and conditions and I'm gonna book. So I'm gonna jump back in here and you will notice my bell is ringing and there's a 1 symbol. So you should get notified here of your new reservation when it's booked. So I can clear that out if I want. If you're not getting an email confirmation, make sure you come into the configuration section under the business details. This email address is the email that all of those copies of the confirmation, again, you'll receive a copy of the confirmation letter when you get that booking. So let me know offline, but absolutely this bell should be ringing anytime there's a new reservation. So please let me know. I have another question here. Kyla, so the question is if a duplex style house that can be booked as one unit or as in 2 individual units. Is there a way to, if one of those gets booked, block off the other? So the quick answer is no. We have heard of that before, not a ton. I do know that it is on our list. It's not super high in priority because we just don't get it. We don't hear it a lot. But I'm assuming what your scenario is, you have a duplex and you have unit A, unit B, and entire house. So if you book unit A, well, the entire house is no longer available. So you'd like it to be auto blocked off. So we do not have an auto block. If one unit is booked, then automatically block something else off. So again, good question. I hope that answers it. Unfortunately, the answer is no, we don't have that. But I will certainly raise that. Every suggestion I hear, I go update tickets and make sure I note that there's now somebody else that requested that feature. That kind of helps drive the importance of that feature. So again, if there's any suggestions that people have, we encourage, as long as I'm talking about that, we encourage you to, first off, you can just email us. Just here's a suggestion. I'd like to make sure, I'd like you to make sure that I'm counted as one of those people that would like this. The other option is we have a submit your idea and vote area, which goes to our user voice section. So you can see what other people are suggesting, and you can vote on those things. You can make your own suggestions and other people can vote on those. So this is where we go to really see what the majority of our customers are asking for. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we're instantly going to do the highest priority, because sometimes the highest priority might take 6 full months of our entire development team, which isn't necessarily, we want to make sure we do it appropriately. So not that we don't start working on it, just some things take a lot longer than other things. So, but I do want to make sure people are aware that this is available. So it's under the question mark, submit your idea and vote. So, all right. So I hope people found those questions and answers valuable. If not, let me know too. Otherwise, I'm going to hop into kind of my Google Hotels part of it. So let me go back into, I don't really need to start this as a presentation here. Well, yeah, it'll look better if I do it as a presentation. Sorry. Okay, so, all right. Google Hotels. Well, some of this is a little bit of repeat, but I wanted to recap things. So just kind of what it is, how people find you, where things are located, and how it can help. So there's Google Hotels really consists of 2 things. Free booking links, which I will go over, but basically your website can appear across Google and it will share rates and availability. And it will show up in certain areas. So when people click on it, you pay nothing. You don't pay for the click. You don't pay for the reservation. They just are redirected to the actual booking engine. Google Hotel Ads, on the other hand, is you get a little bit more visibility across different areas, and I'll cover that. Like Google Maps, Knowledge Panel, and I'll explain what that is if you don't mean. What's great about it is there's no commission. So if anybody who is working with the OTAs like Expedia or Booking.com, they actually charge a commission, usually 15 to 20%. Google Hotel Ads is more of a per click. So, that could range really depending upon if anybody is bidding on your property or anything. It could range from, 10 cents to a buck or $2. And you get to control how much you spend. So you can actually put a budget on there, like $50 for the month. And once that 50 is spent, you won't pay anymore. So it's kind of great. You can analyze that. What's really great is, but if people are to the point where they're clicking on that link, they have seen your property, they know you're available, they see your rate, and they're clicking on that to take an action. So the conversion rate is really high on those. So this just kind of gives you an indication. This is a screenshot from Google Hotels, the area. And again, I'll kind of recap that. But you'll see the ads, where ads are, and the free booking links. So ads kind of get featured, and free booking links follow down there. And your property website will always be first on the free booking links area. As long as you're feeding information to Google Hotels, your free booking links will always be the top here. Now, there could be multiple ads, and in order to make your ad be the top one, you have to be the highest bidder. So that's one area. So this is just kind of a grid on the difference between free booking links and hotel ads. So they're both kind of commission free, we call it, just when you pay per click. They both offer a direct booking, so that it's directly to your website from your website. Top placement, the ads always will give you a higher top placement than the free booking links. But your free booking link will be on the top of everybody else's free booking link. And then I added this. Will your rate automatically show if people are searching from Google Maps? I'll go through that scenario. It's actually how I book my stays, is on Google Maps, or I start there at least. Free booking links at this point in time, Google changes things on a weekly basis, it seems like. At this given time, those rates and availability will not show on Google Maps, versus on ads, they will. So I wanted to give you a recap of the screen. So this is an example of a search, a Google search for hotels in Depot Bay. And I just kind of wanted to distinguish the different sections over here that appear on the left. The top portion are called Google Ads. Notice I didn't say Google Hotel Ads. They're Google Ads. This area here, we call it the local pack, or the 4-pack. And okay, how you get up here is obviously you just pay for a Google ad. You bid on it to get top placement and the search term. This is a local pack. So Google will never give the algorithm of really why it's choosing these 4. It's probably who you are, your demographic, where you're more likely to want to stay. But in addition, it does involve some digital marketing, like search engine optimization, updating your Google business profile. We used to call it Google, or they used to call it Google My Business, but it is now called Google Business Profile. And then with your rates here, that has a Google Hotels connection. And then finally, what's below that area is just the organic results. So the ones that are listed top here are the ones that do really well in SEO, content management, digital marketing. Oh, geez, sorry. Now, what I didn't show on that last screenshot is an area where if you type in your property name or any property name, this area over to the right, and I'm talking about the desktop experience too, I should clarify that. This is the desktop experience. Type in the property name, and this is called the knowledge panel over here on the right. This information is basically drawn from your Google business profile. So it's really important to make sure you've claimed your business profile. You go in and update that. I always recommend going in there, updating it constantly. Just put a reminder on your calendar once a month to go update it, whether you have a new picture that you want to load, or you added an amenity, or changed your hours, or anything like that. Just go in and make sure that Google business profile is updated. Now, this is a search on a property name, and what will show here without doing any sort of clicking, these are Google Hotel ads. So this is where you can set up a monthly budget, your max, daily max, and your max cost per click. this is kind of what determines how high you're going to be listed here. So in this example, Expedia is the top bidder on the hotel ads. So they have bid that if somebody clicks on this link, they have agreed to pay, you know, whatever their max budget is. Maybe it's $2 for that click. This is where if you place a Google hotel ad and you put in and you're the top bidder, this will say direct official site and will link them to the booking engine. So this will have great conversion rate on there. And that's what we're seeing across the board. Google Maps. This is, again, I told you earlier, this is how I actually make a reservation. I kind of know the area I want to go to, especially when I want to go to a beach or the ocean or something. I will zoom in on an area at least, and I'll just click on the word hotels in Google Maps, and it's going to populate this type of screen. Now, the dollar amounts that are showing, that means that there isn't a hotel ad being placed. Those are the dollar amounts there. The smaller little round buttons, it means that you have a hotel and you're in that area, but visually at this point, they're not going to show prices for that. And what's interesting is Google's kind of picking dates for you or for the person searching. You never really know what those dates are and what their algorithm they use to think when you might want to take your vacation, but they at least try to guess anyways. I don't think they've ever guessed right in my scenario. But then here, yeah, I just kind of wanted to recap that by going on and doing a quick search just to give you an example here. So let's do hotels in Windham, New York. I don't know if I spelled that right, so here we go. So hotels in, so there is no knowledge panel, right? Remember when I said knowledge panel will be if I actually type a property name up here. So these are the ads. These are just the regular Google ads. So Airbnb is the top bidder, Expedia, hotels, booking.com. Now it chooses 4 properties here that are all feeding this information from Google Hotels. And then when you hit view all 96, which I will do, it'll actually go into Google Hotels. But this gets clicked on way more often than the view 96 hotels. So you want to try to get listed up here if possible. And then this is the organic results. And then of course you can go to page 2, but I really don't know if I've ever gone to page 2. I might have, but it gives you a little map over here, or I can click on this area. So anytime you click in this little area or the hotels, you are now officially in Google Hotels. So this is Google's version of like Expedia. So this is like an OTA, but I'm looking at a specific property here. Again, it sort of chooses some dates that they think you might be interested in. You can go in here and change those dates, obviously. And you'll notice this is Hotel Vienna official site, visit link. This is a free booking link. This costs nothing. Back on that other screen, there was nothing in there that costs any money on this. So you're not paying per click or anything like that. So I hope that helps kind of navigate that. But then what a lot of people do, if once they're in here, then they might go back into like, oh, what's the area hold? This then goes into more of an OTA type style where you can search on the area, put in your dates. Here's the maps. Here's a listing of your hotels with a price, and view prices means they've got Google Hotels listed here etc. So again, that's kind of the navigation there. I wanted to go in. So let's do an actual search on properties. So let's do Hotel Vienna. I saw that. I'm doing an actual properties search. This is where the knowledge panel comes into play. So this is a good example of, we know, oh, I didn't want to do this, but well, we know that they're feeding rates because we saw that on the last screen in Google Hotels, but it's not showing any rates here because the only time it will show a rate right here is if you place a hotel ad on here. So again, they're feeding them the regular free booking links, but nobody is bidding an ad for here. So then no pricing is listed. So I just wanted to kind of clarify how how and when you show up, where you can show up, what higher visibility you can gain from this. Again, because if this is what they're presented, they may be going in here and trying it, and it's possible maybe they didn't have any anything available. But usually if there's an ad on here, you're going to start, it will automatically try to choose dates that something is available. So then it'll show ads. Let's just, there's got to be a Holiday Inn. I'll just choose yeah. I just figured somebody's got to have it. So this is where your top ads show up for whatever dates. Again, they're going to choose something that's available to make sure they show rates. Now, there's some ads here, and there's view more rates. And you notice now I'm back to Google Hotels. So now I've got the free booking links that will appear. So that's kind of the benefit of at least somebody is placing an ad. So you get some visibility around availability and rates. And you'll notice, well, this is 65. What other rates are there? And then this is where, if somebody is bidding an ad, even with a free booking link, now you get the chance to become the official site where people can book direct without paying anything. I have a question here related to Google Hotel ads. Can you see what other bids are before making yours? So the answer is no, but Google does not rake you over the coals. So if somebody's max bid is 50 cents, but you put a max bid of $2, it will really only charge you, to be honest, I don't know if they publicize it or if I just don't know. They're not going to charge you the $2. They're going to charge you 60 cents, whatever it takes to outbid the other max bids. So just know, and what's great about it is if you have somebody managing that tool, you can place an ad and then see where you're showing up and then up your bid if you want to become the top spot. So that's the answer to that question. I hope that helps, Vicky. So again, the question was, can you see what, all of these people are bidding? Can you see? Obviously, Expedia put the highest max per click because they're showing the top here, and then it goes in order. So to be the highest one, you just gotta have a higher max bid than the other people. So of course they want to get the most, Google wants to get the most amount of money. But again, conversion rates are really great, and we've seen really good results on here. So I'm going to switch back to this. This shows a couple we're doing hotel ads. In case anybody doesn't know, we do website design and digital marketing for people, SEO, pay-per-click, email marketing, etc. And for some of those clients, we're now doing some Google hotel ads to just kind of get started. So here's some information. I believe these ads have run for 1 full month. So the important, I've just put where they're located, right? Because results can vary. So again, I'm not going to say everybody's going to get, you know, the 1,000% return that we're seeing here, the 5,000% return we're seeing here, because it does depending upon your location, are people traveling in that area, the time of the year, your budget, you know, your monthly budget, right? Because if you have a monthly budget of $50 and you burn through that in the first week, well, you may be missing out on a bunch of other conversions, and you could have gotten a better conversion had you kept it going. Anyways, and obviously the evil COVID has a play in it right now too. So again, this is some examples. 30-unit hotel in Wyndham. They received 13 bookings that they spent $180 on. The bookings were worth $2,735. So ROAS equals return on ad spend. So the return on ad spend was 1,416% with the 6.5% conversion rate. Property 2, 21 unit inn in San Francisco. They spent, it costs more, right? So San Francisco, this time of the year, it's warm. You're probably having to spend more max per click to get listed, but they still got 5 bookings for a revenue of 1,380, so 153%. So, you know, this is fairly low, right? But they still received 150% return on that. And then this is a 37-unit hotel in Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts. This one was a really big return. So they spent 198, got $11,154 in revenue with 10 bookings. So obviously those bookings were worth a lot more. I mean, if you divide that out by 10, that's $1,000 a booking. So their return and conversion rate was really high. You'll notice this is 11% versus other ones. And it could mean less competition in the area, etc. So now, this is something we're sort of, I'm going to offer this up today as just kind of a, we're just starting with this Google Hotel ads, and we're offering this ads management. Again, it's something that you don't have to do, but I just want to make you aware of. So what it is our marketing team can kind of set you up with a hotel ads campaign. We'll report monthly on the success. We would help you adjust your budget if you'd like, provide some recommendations. What's required is you have to have the Cloud Pro subscription to access Google Hotels in general. You need to have a Google Ads account. We'll actually create one if you don't already have one. So remember, Google Ads was different than hotel ads. And then a Google Analytics account to tie into, so we can really get nitty gritty on the results. How much is it? We're doing a $150 setup fee for the first people that sign up, first 5 people that sign up. We're waiving that onboarding setup fee. And then it's $100 a month for the management of it, for us to kind of manage it. And then whatever budget you decide. So again, the more competitive you are, if you're working with OTAs, your budget's probably going to have to be a little higher, because those OTAs usually bid on everybody's properties. I know that stinks. They're taking the money from you, and but they're spending money to do it. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to post a survey. One of those is if you'd like to be contacted about this. You can also email me with any questions or anything. So how am I doing for time? I've got about 7 minutes before I officially run out of time, but I wanted to give you my contact information, my phone number, that's my direct dial phone number, my email address. This is more generic emails and phone numbers. So sales@rezstream.com goes to coworkers kind of on the sales side. Support@rezstream.com is the same support address you can use to get help. And then that's our generic phone number. I say generic, but our main phone number, and then that'll lead you into options. Press 1 for sales, 2 for support, etc. So time for any last questions. I have a couple of, I want that feature as well. So a couple of votes on the duplex style housing. So I'll make sure I get those added to our tickets. I don't have any more questions, I don't believe. Let me just verify that. And I do not have any more. So I really appreciate you taking the time out today. I really want these things to be meaningful. So hopefully people learned something in this hour. And if not, I'm always willing to take suggestions on future webinars, what you didn't like about it, what you did like about it. Again, there will be a survey when I shut this thing down. I really do look at these surveys. I look at each and every response. I do reach back out to those people that want me to. I answer any questions. So please take the time. It should be less than 5 minutes of your time. So with that, I will say happy holidays. If I don't speak to any of you before then, but let me know if you have any questions. And again, thank you very much for the webinar, attending the webinar, and for being a rezStream customer. Thank you and take care.